I'm going to ask one of our parishioners, Bill Caldwell, to come. I'm going to let you borrow my mic. You got one. Oh, you're prepared already. Well done. Okay. And he's going to share with us his motivation in giving, what we like to call stewardship. And this year's theme is loving lokahi. Lokahi is a Hawaiian word which bare bones means unity, but it's more about a lokahi in the sense of gathering together of various elements to come together for one purpose. That's kind of the whole thing unpacked. But loving lokahi. And so he's going to share a bit of his own experience of that.
Okay. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the celebration of All Saints Sunday. All Saints Day is a very special day, certainly for our church. It gives us our name, but also because it gives us the opportunity to celebrate all those saints who have gone before us. You know, we're all saints upon our baptism, and once we pass on, we leave behind a legacy. And if you just look around at this beautiful sanctuary and think about the impact of All Saints Church on this community, you see that legacy. Well, how did that happen? That happened because our saints that have gone before us knew that Malama matters. That was our stewardship theme last year. Malama means take care, taking care. They were caretakers of this beautiful place. They left it to us. We are now the caretakers. And that's why we wanted to focus on Malama last year. So, how do we do that? If you think about it, All Saints is a really big and very, very diverse ohana. So how do we all come together to make this happen, to keep this alive in God's name? Well, that gets us to this year's theme that Kahu just mentioned, loving lokahi. Lokahi was a term that really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I didn't really understand it until I did a little bit of research. It's a compound Hawaiian word, two parts. First part, lo, which means to obtain, to obtain. The second part, kahi, is an abbreviation of the Hawaiian word ekahi, which is the number one. So literally, lokahi means to obtain one or oneness. So it's a harmony, a unity that brings all of us together, not despite our diversity, but because of our diversity, we have tremendous strength together. So this year, we're going to focus on loving lokahi. Now, what does that mean? It certainly means that we all have talents, strengths, that derive from our diversity. We're not all the same, and that's great. So God is calling us all to remember those gifts, those strengths that God gave us, and use them to God's benefit in the world. So, it's a matter of time, skill, talent, maybe taking some risk, sticking your neck out there, but thinking about a ministry, thinking about what you can do to support the church. There is something else, though, that I want to talk about. And you guessed it, it's money. Okay? Now, I do have a slide. Let's see if there it is. I hope you can see this. I'm a chemist. It's hard for me to talk for any length of time without a data slide. So here it is, my slide full of data. On the left, I'm showing, now this of course is the 2021 All Saints Church budget. And on the left are the total expenses. And you can see that most of those expenses are kind of fixed costs. Sorry, Kahu, we're not going to pay you anymore, right? We're not going to improve the building. We're not going to maintain the building. No, those are fixed costs. We have to do that, right? We have a significant amount of money going into outreach, okay, and our ministries. But you can see that the bulk of our expenses are fixed. Now, on the right, I'm showing income for 2021. An important thing to note on this graph is the red line at the top on the right. That's our deficit. We spent or budgeted to spend more money than we took in 2021. That was a leap of faith. I talked about risk a minute ago. It was a leap of faith. We can't run deficit budgets. We just can't. Not consistently. Now, if you look, I've circled two areas that are probably the most important in terms of giving. One of them is big. It says plate and regular. Well, what does that mean? That means it's what people put in the plate, and a number of people give a lot, and they do it on a regular basis. But it's not a pledge. And you see, it's more than our pledge income. The vestry has to budget every year. The only thing they can depend on is a pledge. They can't really budget around unknown, unexpected events like people putting money in a plate. They need certainty. They need a commitment. God is calling us to commit. That plate and pledge figure is upside down. There should be more pledging. So I'm being real blunt, but that's what we're called to do. We're called to commit. There's an old Scottish proverb that I live by. It goes like this: commit and providence will follow. I've done that for my whole life. Every time I pledge, it doesn't impact me financially. In fact, often I get more than I give because God is willing to allow me to take that risk. And God will never let me fail. The Holy Spirit has my back. The Holy Spirit has your back in giving. So I urge you to think about this seriously before next week when we'll take in our pledge cards. I don't want to end on a downer. So once again, I'll remind us that this is a great day of celebration, and we should all give thanks to those who have come before and commit to their legacy. So thank you.